In a peaceful village surrounded by mountains, there lived an old Zen master named Hiroshi. He was known for his deep understanding of love and human nature, and people came from far and wide to seek his advice on relationships and matters of the heart. One day, a young woman named Aiko approached Hiroshi with a heavy heart. She had fallen deeply in love with someone, but her relationship was filled with conflict and misunderstandings. She wanted to make things right, but didn't know how. "Master Hiroshi," she said, her voice filled with sadness, "I love him deeply, but it feels like the more I try, the more things fall apart. I don't know what I'm doing wrong." Hiroshi nodded, his gaze soft yet knowing. "Love is like tending a delicate garden, Aiko. You must nurture it carefully, with both patience and understanding. Sometimes, it is not what we give that harms love, but what we hold on to or bring into it without realizing." Aiko looked at him, her eyes pleading for guidance. "Master, please teach me. What should I avoid when I am loving someone?" Hiroshi smiled and motioned for her to sit beside him on a stone bench overlooking a calm lake. "There are 5 things you must avoid if you wish to love deeply and truly," he began, "and each one is like a weight that can sink a relationship if left unchecked. The first thing to avoid: possessiveness." Hiroshi picked up a handful of sand from the ground and held it out in his palm. "Love, like sand, cannot be held too tightly," he said. "When you love someone, avoid the desire to possess them. Possessiveness comes from fear of losing them. But in trying to hold on too tightly, you lose the beauty of what you have." He let the sand slip through his fingers and watched it fall. The tighter you grasp, the more love slips away. Instead, hold them with an open hand, allowing them the freedom to be themselves. When someone feels free, they are more likely to stay by your side, not out of obligation, but out of true connection. Aiko nodded, seeing herself in his example. She realized how often she had tried to control her partner's actions, fearing he would leave if she didn't. The second thing to avoid: comparison. Hiroshi looked out over the lake, reflecting the sky's changing colors. The second thing to avoid is comparison. Just as every leaf is unique, so is every person. When you compare your partner to others, you are diminishing who they truly are. He turned to Aiko. "Imagine if you constantly compared this lake to the sea, longing for it to be larger or more powerful. You would miss the beauty of its calm, of its gentle ripples." Aiko felt a pang of recognition. She had often compared her partner to others, wishing he were more like them in certain ways. She realized that by doing so, she had blinded herself to his unique strengths and qualities. The third thing to avoid: expectation. Hiroshi then picked a delicate flower growing beside the bench and held it up to Aiko. "The third thing to avoid, Aiko, is heavy expectation. Expectations are like weights that we place upon love, hoping it will grow in a certain direction or fulfill certain desires." He let the flower fall gently to the ground. A flower cannot grow if you pull on it, and love cannot flourish under the pressure of expectation. Let love grow freely, appreciating it for what it is, not for what you wish it to become. Aiko's eyes softened. She saw how her own hopes and dreams for the relationship had sometimes overshadowed the reality of their love, creating disappointment where there could have been acceptance. The fourth thing to avoid: pride. Hiroshi took a deep breath, his voice calm and steady. The fourth thing to avoid is pride. Pride stands in the way of apologies, forgiveness, and vulnerability. Love thrives on humility and the willingness to put aside one's ego for the sake of the other. He turned to Aiko, his gaze gentle yet serious. "When you let pride guide you, you create a wall between yourself and the one you love. True love asks us to let go of that wall, to admit when we are wrong, and to accept our partner's imperfections, with an open heart. Aiko thought about the times she had refused to apologize, even when she knew she was wrong, letting her pride harden her heart. She realized that pride had kept her from fully opening herself to her partner, from showing her truest self. The fifth thing to avoid: fear of vulnerability. Finally, Hiroshi took Aiko's hand and pointed to the reflection of the clouds moving across the lake. The fifth thing to avoid is fear of vulnerability. Love is like the lake that mirrors the sky, open and willing to show its depths. He squeezed her hand gently. When you are afraid to be vulnerable, you hide parts of yourself from the one you love. True love is a shared journey that requires openness, even in times of pain and uncertainty. Do not be afraid to show your true self, for it is only by being fully known that you can be fully loved. Aiko felt tears in her eyes. She had often guarded her heart, afraid that showing her flaws and insecurities would drive her partner away, but she now understood that love could only grow when she was willing to be fully seen. The lesson. After a moment of silence, Hiroshi looked at Aiko with warmth and compassion. These 5 things: possessiveness, comparison, expectation, pride, and fear, are like shadows that dim the light of love. Avoid these shadows, and you will create a love that is bright, warm, and lasting. Aiko bowed deeply, gratitude filling her heart. Thank you, Master Hiroshi. I came here hoping to fix my relationship, but now I see that the path to true love begins within myself. Hiroshi nodded. Indeed, Aiko. Love is not something we master. It is something we nurture by mastering ourselves. By letting go of these shadows, you make room for love to grow, naturally and freely. Aiko left the mountain with a newfound understanding, ready to cultivate a deeper, more genuine love, one rooted in acceptance, freedom, and trust. She felt lighter, as if she had left her burdens behind, and for the first time, she saw love not as something to grasp, but as a gentle, open embrace. And in that embrace, she found a love worth keeping.